Well, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing fine and dandy. You know, it's another day, as I always say. But, been sitting here thinking just how life is. 39. I'm 39, I've lost some friends and some family members. I was kind of going through the list from like 92 till 2026. It's like Grandma Eleanor was the first one that died, and it was my cousin Kenny, and then there was Mitch, and there was Grossman, and then there's Angie Lynn's, and like Spencer and Zach Whitmore. Like, man, Zach Whitmore, yeah. He was definitely as Garten said, he was the best skateboarder in Marshtown or any park that he was at skating. He was. I literally, like, one time school got out, and everyone went to the skate park. I didn't skate. I tried, failed. Wasn't a skateboarder. I had a skateboard. I can coast. Doing tricks? No, I don't want to fall down. But no, he was so good that I brought my mountain bike that day after high school, and rode down to the skate park by Anson Park, and he's like, "Hey, trainwreck, put your mountain bike on top of this ramp right here." It was like a ramp, and then there's another wall right here, and if Marshall, you know what I'm talking about. This is he had a big ramp over here, and then a ramp over this middle island part, but my bike was sitting on the top of it. He like goes from the top over this ramp, comes down, ramps up this small ramp, clears it barely, and the nut that was holding his wheels in, took a little chunk out of my bike seat, and I was still amazed, like, because at first I thought he was gonna fuck up, but that's how good Zach was. He could skate. He could skate. He was the legend, as I call him. Because I was on his funeral last week. Like I showed up a little late, like 8 minutes late, but because I walked from my house at 10:30 when it started at 10:30, and I showed up 8. It's right over here, like a couple blocks over, and stuck at the front door because it's so packed at that funeral. And they had all the pictures of him and stuff, and the pictures of him skateboarding. And I see one I always remember was him grinding against the railing on the ramp. Like, that's how I remember Zach. That guy. That guy. And he's like the second Zach I know that died. It was like Zach Webb, my mom's now ex-boyfriend's son. He died in 2009, July 12th. Like, July has a lot of deaths in it. But it's kind of weird. Both Zachs I knew died in July. Like, oh. Zach Webb, he was a fisherman. He was a drinker too. He just had having a good time. I mean, we would get belligerent, we get too much, if he hit the hard stuff. But if he was in beer, he was good. He drank a 24 pack of Budweiser, fine. A couple of shots of whiskey or tequila or anything that's not beer. Oh, shit. I had to put him on phone Nelson one time. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, you just got done knee facing your sister. And I'm dragging you outside to calm you the fuck down." "I'll fucking kick your ass." I'm like, "Well, you're not, because I got you in a full Nelson and I'm dragging you outside. Like, just calm the fuck down." And it, when you're in a full Nelson, and in a full Nelson, and you try doing one of these, all you're doing is hurting yourself, because then I had to apply more pressure on the back of your neck, and you're like, "Okay, okay, okay. I'm calm. I'm calm." Well, it doesn't seem like that because you're kicking my legs. They try doing the back kick thing on you and stuff. And if you're calm, just go limp. I'll let you go. But if you come at me, don't do that. I had to let him go. It's like, don't do it, dude. I'll put you back in the Phil Nelson and I'll slam you against stuff. Wasn't that hard to put you in the Phil Nelson in the first place? I never go looking for fights. I have been in fights, And sometimes I would have to end fights or neutralize the fight, which technically kind of ends the fight anyway. I try doing it as non-violent as possible. It's like these two guys I know, it's like James and Clint. Like James just got out of prison, and fucking Clint's just one of those guys that gets whiskey courage and all that. And James, he just got out and he's getting drunk because he hasn't been drunk in like so many years. So, and he's like jacked up from prison and stuff. And yeah, fucking, I remember seeing him in the alleyway. I'm like, oh, the two best motherfuckers I know. All right, I want to get a picture and all this. And I had someone like, here's my phone and all this. And I didn't know there was already a beef between those two before I got there. Because, James was like, you know who I am? He was still prison set, like, but respect me because he's trying to puff his. But again, I watched James kick three guys' asses in my mom's front yard. One of the guys bit him in the back, and yeah, he took that guy that beat him with the back and beat him with another guy, and then fucking kicked the other third guy over here. But yeah, he just like took two guys at once. Oh, because the other guy jumped on him and all this and bit him in the back. Oh, you motherfucker! So to tell that story, I had to tell that story about the Clinton. So here I am with the. All right, well, I get a picture. And all I saw was Clint's arm go here. Underneath man come that, and I look. James falls out of my thing. I don't even get the picture, because it happened before. James is on the ground with a bloody fucking mouth. Clint's like, I didn't want to do that, and I'm like, well, it's on between you guys. And Clint's like, what do you mean? And then James gets up and takes off his shirt, and he's all fucking just like jacked, like pecs and six pack, like, let's go. And I'm like, run, Clint, run. And Clint, I just went back inside. I don't know what happened between those two. I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm going back inside. I was just trying to get a picture. Go back inside. And then it was like a time, like I was trying to pick up a fight, which is at Center Street again. And I remember like just telling the two guys, like, hey guys, just calm the fuck down. So all this and I was trying to disagree that, but yeah, I just got punched in the face. All right, fuck you, fuck him up. Why would you punch me? I didn't punch you. I was trying to punch him. In the process, you punched me. Well, you guys fucking fired out. But it's like people that tried fighting me. Like I had one time there was a friend. I'll leave his name out, but he was married, but he had a mistress chick that he was banging on the side, and she was beating him in again, all by 7th Street, alleyway. If people know from Marshtown, a lot of fights happen at 7th Street. He's like me. I don't hit a woman. I won't. I'll ever put you in a full Nelson, like not full Nelson, and I bear hug and stuff to stop you. But this chick was beating one of my, at the time, friends in the face, and all he's like doing is like, I'm not gonna do anything, and she's just wailing on, and I'm like watching it happen in front of me, and all I did was like grab her face and push her away. Well, she was drunk when it happened, because that's why he was punching him in the face. But all I just did is grab her face, like stop. She falls down. The guy's like, you hit me. I'm like, no, I did not hit you, because if I hit you, we would have this conversation, because I'm pretty good at punching. I just shoved you away from him, and all I could do was grab your face and get away from him. And yeah, his face was like bloody nose, like it was blood. A lot of blood in the mouth and nose area. And I'm like, look at him. He wasn't even trying to find you. He just kept punching him in the face, and he kept doing, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm like, well, you should have at least blocked. And she's like, you punched me. And no, I did not punch you. I shoved you. I was trying to shove you away from him for punching him in the face. Jesus, hold on, let me go get some toilet paper for you for that nose, because his nose was just running with blood down his nostril. I'm like, let me go to the bathroom and get some toilet paper. So I run back in the Center Street. She's still on the ground, screaming at people like, he hit me. And then they're thinking it's him that hit her, until they see his face is like, well, maybe he needed to punch you. So I go in and get the bathroom, get some toilet paper, good wad of toilet paper. Like, all right, stick up your nostril, stick up your nostril, and she's still drunkenly on the ground, still screaming at people like, "Yeah, he hit me, he hit me, he hit me!" Like she's not even looking and pointing at anybody anymore. I'm like, yeah, I think we just need to get out of here. She ain't going to jail that night by the cops. I mean, if you're too drunk that you can't get up off the ground, just screaming around, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have been drinking. But there's another thing I was kind of thinking too. I'm trying to wean myself. Don't want to stop cold turkey because that happened to somebody I knew. He stopped cold turkey and his body went into shock. So yeah, if you're gonna stop drinking, first thing is just wean yourself out. I'm not saying keep drinking. I'm saying drink enough that you just do less and less. Like I'm doing. I still have the big bottle I have now, but I'm taking little pints and filling it up a little bit and thinking it's the same bottle. Playing a little mind trick on myself. Like, oh man, I'm almost done with the bottle. I'm almost done with it. And I just refill it back again a little bit. So my body thinks like, man, we drank a lot of alcohol with that big bottle, but we didn't. That's a 2 week bottle right here, but that's behind you. I just keep filling with pints. You know. All right, here we go. I won't do the shooters. Shooters are teasers. Shooters are just shots that you just do when you can when you're at the gas station. Ow, my ankle. And there's another thing too, is like my body's telling me signs, like one, my liver's good, so fuck you if you say, hey, you're supposed to liver. No, my liver's good. Everything organs wise. It's just a mentality. Like Dimebag said, I love being drunk. Love it. I love the loosey goosey, just the loosening of the tongue. Sometimes that gets you in trouble. But my family always said if you want to see the real person, get them drunk. Because, he had this one person that's all concerned, like, doesn't say nothing. But he gave him a couple shots. That's how I got Grossman loosened up. Because when I first met him, the only words he would say was, okay, no, and sure. Or I don't know. But I gave him a couple fucking shots of fucking alcohol we were drinking. Maybe like Hawkeye's vodka. Because at that time we were like teenagers, so we couldn't buy alcohol. So we had $20. Like, what $20 gave me? And your friend's brothers that was old enough to buy booze. It was like Hawkeye's vodka, so vodka. And yeah, still haven't done Hawkeye's vodka since I turned 21. Every time I see a bottle of Hawkeye's vodka, I'm like, the shiver going. At the same time, when I see the bottle of Everclear too, I'm like, fire. When you take a swig of fucking Everclear and go with your lighter, flame goes this way. Dumbass. Fire back in his beard. Ah! Ah! Grossman, flaming shot. Lights his peach fuzz mustache on fire. Ah, 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 ah. Beanbag, 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 he's out. Well, we could have died, but no. It's kind of one of those things. I have a lot of good drinking stories, and maybe it's time to slow down. As Josh says, he doesn't. He just wants me to slow down, dude. You need to slow down, and he's right. He's my savior. He saved me, choking on a steak and shrimp. Shrimp was choking me, and he did the Heimlich on me like 4 times. Okay, it's out. It's out. It's out. But the second time it was already like out. And we're after the Heimlich. Josh was like looking at me going, dude, that was my first Heimlich. And I'm like, I am glad I was your first and you saved me. And then I picked that shrimp up and went, fuck you, shrimp. You could have just killed me. And my nephew, his son, was like, Uncle Alex, I can't believe you still want to eat after throwing it back up. I'm like, no, I had to eat it. Teach that shrimp a lesson. Could have killed me, but I chew the crap out of me now. And Josh was like, maybe you should start chewing your food. I was in the process of chewing it. I was chewing the steak, and the shrimp kind of bypassed my teeth and my tongue and went down without being chewed because I was concentrating on the steak. I did a shrimp on top of the steak. But yeah, that was a near life experience. It makes you kind of think life's a little more pressure. Like, man, I could have just choked to death if I was by myself. But Probably was in a long video and all this, so and it's kind of sweet and all this is remember the dead, remember the good times. There was always good times until they died, and it was bad times. But you still remember the good times. Like, man, it sucks that they're not around. But it's like that movie Coco from Disney. We're here to remember them here in the living, to keep them alive in the afterlife. Because once someone stops remembering somebody in the afterlife in the living, that person fades away. We don't want them to fade away. We want to remember them, keep the memory alive, share some stories. You know, like my grandma was, she, she helped raise 7 grandsons, and I'm number 7. So it's like I have like 6. Well, my brother was part of it. The 7. So it was like my 5 cousins and my brother. And my grandma was going through cancer and all this, and she still like battled through it until the end. Disciplined 7 grandkids. I mean, and a boys box. I mean, she went through it. Went through like the chemo and all this. All right, we're gonna sew up your butthole, and you gotta shit in a bag and from now on. Okay. And then it went spread to lymph notes, which means they had to remove the voice box because it was cancerous and all that. So she had to talk like this. And then I think later on, I think she just either the body gave out too much chemo, or I think lung or something like that. I can't remember. It was 92. I was a little kid, but she was the first person I saw get zipped up at 5, almost 6 years old. Dead body getting zipped up in a black bag and taken off as a little kid. Like, where are they going with my grandma? Fucks you up a little bit. And then every time someone dies that's close to me and stuff, it's like, man, good times when I knew them, them. Like my Grand Andreas, died in 2021. It was privileged for me to make her a four-finger 7-11, 7-11, 7 and 7, 4 shots of Seagram with 7 Up. And she was like, yeah, that happened like way before she died, way before COVID, and way before I met my baby mama. So I'm thinking like 2012. That was kind of the party years because we're thinking 2012, we're gonna die because the world's gonna end because the Mayans or Aztec calendar says we're gonna die 2020. Like, especially when you watch that movie 2012 and you're like, oh, this is gonna happen. Well, fuck, it was this party you took. Because you know why? The end of the world was gonna happen a day before my birthday. It was supposed to end on December 21, 2012. My birthday is December 22nd. So I was like trying to party before my birthday. I'm like, well, the world's gonna end before my birthday. Might as well get fucked up and party. And then 2012 happened. Here we are, 2026. Still alive. Just less people in it.